my name is Jennifer, and I have decided to join the Booktube community, and I'm really excited. And this is my first video. I've had some friends who have been wanting me to do this, and I've been trying to find a good way to give my book reviews and just really share my love of books and writing with everyone in the community. And so I will post in the information below a link to my Instagram feed, which is The Creative Auditor. My real job is as an IT auditor, and I really thoroughly enjoy it, but I read a lot of technical reading, as you could probably imagine, and so I've grown up with reading, and I have a very fun story to share with you today for my first video with you all, and I just thought I would give you an overview of what June looked like. Another thing you'll see here on the channel is here shortly my son will join us, and he will give his book reviews as well. As a mom, I'm always interested in hearing what people are enjoying for their kids. I also like to read alongside of him. I'm going to share some of the books that I bought for him this June, and I will admit some of these were more mommy wants you to read these because she wants to read these. And I'm going to share those for you as well, but when he gets back, he will be doing his book reviews as well, because he's been wanting to do YouTube videos, and this is my good happy medium. So you'll find some reviews from him as well. So first, let's start with what I read this June. And unfortunately, the two books I did get done were a little slower. I've definitely been able to tell when I'm not into a book, the reading is slower, and I can't just get them knocked out. I don't like to not finish a book. But my two reads for June were The Diabolical Miss Hyde and The Women in the Castle. The Women in the Castle, this one, when I saw it in the bookstore, I just told myself, don't go over there, don't take my money. This is the story of Nazi Germany and a group of men who had decided to do an assassination attempt on Hitler. And The Women in the Castle, it is a journey of one man's wife to go and find the children and remaining lives of the other conspirators, gather them and take them. His family had owned a castle, and it's her search for these survivors and then their journeys in post-World War II Germany. I did enjoy the story from the perspective that more stories of these I believe need to be read and just need to be out there. So I was very thankful to see this story come out about women and their survival and their trials during war. What I was a little disappointed or maybe surprised by, it just really wasn't as suspenseful as I thought it would be. There was one scene in the book where Russian soldiers had come to the castle, and it got a bit intense, but just not as fearful as I guess wanted to feel from the book, in the perspective of what maybe I was expecting. I wanted some more tension. I was also very surprised that it didn't deal a lot with the assassination attempt or that portion of it. That really wasn't mentioned. There is one scene that I do believe it was based off of the attempt that also the movie Valkyrie is based off of, where there was control. They didn't know if Hitler had been killed or not, and they did gain control of the government for just a short, brief period of time. And I think it's based off of that same assassination attempt, but the author never really comes out and tells. It really follows three women and their stories, and some of it, the main character, I also didn't feel like got the redemption or the lesson learned I was hoping for them to get in the book by the end of the story. So it is a very, very good story. I believe I did give this a 3 stars on Goodreads. It's probably more, I rate it as a 3.5. It is definitely worth you checking out from the library or potentially a paperback purchase. It's not worth the hardback in my opinion, but it's still a great book. it's still a good read that you need to do for a newer perspective on World War II literature. I've had the Diabolical Miss Hyde on my bookshelf for maybe at least 2 years, and I believe I gave this one a 2 on Goodreads. I really wanted to enjoy it. This story follows Eliza Hyde and Lizzie Jekyll. Eliza Jekyll and Lizzie Hyde. And essentially she is the daughter, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. But the reason I didn't like this book is it felt like it was trying to do too much. It had fantasy concepts, and you had shapeshifters and fairies, and it was back, in Victorian England. They also brought in steampunk genre, and it felt like just too much, that the author was just trying to do too much through the story, and it just got overwhelming. Lizzie Hyde was almost over the top with her personality, and it was just so different from Eliza, which I understand it should be, but it rubbed me the wrong way. So it felt like it was doing too much. I like all of those concepts. I'm a big fantasy reader, but I wish the author would have picked like with maybe steampunk and Victoria era and followed the storyline there, because I'm all for these new concepts with traditional literature, and I like to see these new takes on them. So it was more disappointing from that. It just was too much. So, but if you are into that and you like all those things together, maybe it is your book, but not for me. This is a part of a series, so I'm not too sure what to tell you the next one is, but I'm not going to be continuing on. This will be in a series I did not finish. So next, I'll go through, and I've been trying to read more of the books that are on my bookshelf and buying more, because it's getting to be bigger on the bookshelves than I probably would care for it to be. But in June, I did purchase a few books, and we'll go through those now, and I think we'll start with the books that I purchased for the kiddo. Now, actually, the first one I'm going to share with you, I think I purchased actually back in April or May, but I did want to share these. These are, there was a movie out a few years ago called The Rise of the Guardians, and it's about Jack Frost was the main character. And also you had Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, and the Sandman. Well, the creator, William Joyce, of The Rise of the Guardians, which is a children's book, has decided to continue on and tell us the stories of Santa Claus, Sandman, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny, and how also they came to be into their power, which I was really excited for, because when we watched that movie, that was something that I asked myself, how did they get to be in their positions where we had Jack Frost? So how did the moon choose these guardians as well? And so I was really excited to see that these had been written. My kid, Xander, he was Jack Frost for Halloween the year that movie came out, and so maybe back on Instagram I can go and find some pictures and share those for you guys again. But it was, that movie is really loved in our house. And so the first book in that series is Nicolas St. North in the Battle of the Nightmare King. And these look like they are wonderfully illustrated. You can see that there. And they just look like beautiful, beautiful books. And we've got the Nightmare King in here again, and the wonderful Yeti right here. So really excited to see the Yeti. Unfortunately for me, the Sandman's book is the last book in the series, so we're going to be needing to go through these all before Mama gets to the book that she wants to read. But this is Nicolas St. North. They look extremely promising as books, so this is going to be on our to-read list. Book about for him also as well is The Star Thief. So the kiddo is turning 8, here this month, and it is a little bit of a bigger book, but this will probably be one that we do read together, or that I sit with him and listen to him read to make sure he is grasping the concepts. But this is a story, I believe, where the stars come alive, and a journey, and it just sounds really interesting and really enthralling. You'll find that we have a lot of fantasy reads in this house, so I'm really, really excited for this. This may be one where I may read it first, let's be honest. And then finally, how I have not picked up this book yet, even for myself, is beyond me, but I did finally purchase for our family The Tale of Desperaux. And again, another book with wonderful illustrations. You can see it's good font and going to be easy to read. He is probably, to be honest, going to be able to handle this one himself, and probably won't need Mom's help with it. But again, this has been one that I have wanted to read for a few years as well. So it may get read by the both of us when he gets back. So next on to my books that I got. So first off and foremost, I did finish up Happy 20th Birthday Harry Potter. I rounded out my collection and got my Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them original screenplay books. So got this one added to my shelf. I really thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I cannot wait to see more about that and hopefully see Dumbledore more in action. But that Niffler, man, super cute. So got this one to add to the shelves, not necessarily needing to get it read super duper fast, but it's here. Harry Potter collection is complete for now, and really excited for all of those. I got Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert as well. This is a recommendation for me from a friend as I start to do and explore some more creative writing that I've wanted to also do for years. So this was recommended to me for that. The other thing I do like to do is read more of a professional or self-improvement book. Occasionally my goal was to read 6 of those. I believe this year I'm at 2 or 3 for that, so this helps me with that goal as well. My one book that I would recommend as a business read to anybody is Nimble, Focused, Feisty, about organizational culture and some changes that this author is seeing with that. So that's a really, really good read. I'll see if I can find a good cover picture and put it somewhere in here for you guys so you can see what that one looks like. And then my final buy for you all in the story I want to share with you guys today is not realizing that the Barnes & Noble here closed at 9 p.m. and arriving at like 8:58. Pretty much walked in, and I had heard rumors that Tad Williams was going to be going back to his Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn universe, and was a little doubtful and said, when I see the book, I'll believe it. Well, here's the book, The Witchwood Crown by Tad Williams, and this was immediately grabbed it off of the shelf. All reading plans for the month of July got shifted, and this book I will probably be digging into as soon as I get this video edited and posted. Let's be honest. So in this book, Tad Williams is returning to, and I should probably warn you now, I'm horrible with names, Ostenard, which is his universe that he explored in the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn books. And it is the story of Simon, or is it Simeon? Simon. It's just Simon. And Miriamel. And this is 30 years after the Dragon Bone Chair. And these books, not only are they wonderfully beautiful, great fantasy books, but this book series is, when I was in high school, I can't remember if it was officially my sophomore or my junior year, we I think it might have been my sophomore year, because that's when our science teacher arrived. And really, he and another good friend of mine reawakened for me my love of reading. And I had really not read any fantasy or sci-fi at this point in my life. It was a lot of classics, is what I like to read, and more fiction. I hadn't really explored fantasy at this point in my life. But he had suggested that I read The Dragon Bone Chair. And I believe he actually had lent me the first one, and then I did go and buy one, and I have, here is my copy. This is the first book of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorns. So if you're wanting to read this book and it sounds like a good read for you, this is The Dragon Bone Chair, and this is the first book. These guys, they are thick. All of these books are hefty. So if you're wanting hefty reading, these will get you. They are beautiful. Tad Williams for me is right up there with Tolkien and the greats of fantasy writing. These books are just wonderful, but again, they hold a very special place in my heart. I think I've maybe read these through 2 or 3 times. So this is The Dragon Bone Chair. There is, why did I go blank on the second book of the series? The third book is actually Two Green Angel Tower, and that book was so big that if you bought it in paperback, you actually had to buy 2 books. So The Dragon Bone Chair Part 1 and Part 2. I luckily found a hardback version of that book at a used bookstore, so I do have that one in hardback. So now that I've got this guy going for me, I'm probably going to see if I can find these original ones in hardback as well. But as you can see, this book has been very, very loved by me, and this is mine. This one is probably at least, it's probably pushing close to 20 years old as well, but I won't ever get rid of it. Again, and if you're probably, I have not read the Game of Thrones and George Martin books. I've heard some things that I struggle with as a reader that have been in his books, and so I've stayed away from them for now. But this is very much along those lines, and if you are a fan of those books, you'll like Tad Williams. He is a wonderful, wonderful storyteller. But that means that my last book here, this was what I had started to read. This is called The Family Plot by Sherry Priest, and it's the book I had started and ended reading in June, but will probably now get put on the back burner because, I'm sorry, Tad Williams, and just gonna have to read that. So that is my June book haul for you all. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll enjoy coming back. If you've got any good recommendations, or if you're excited and you saw the story with the Tad Williams books as well too, share your comments below. I'll love to have a conversation with you. Again, if you're wanting to see where my reading's at in a more live, real-time fashion, you can head over to my Instagram, which I'll put a link to that below. I don't really keep anything on Facebook at this point in time yet. I did have a blog, but I find just talking and being able to share this way, I think, is going to be an easier route for me. So it's really going to be the best ways to connect are through YouTube and Instagram. So I hope to see you guys again next month with another book haul, hopefully more than 2 books read, even though I've got a big hefty one there. My goal is I've got to have that one done by the 15th, because I have talked to said science teacher and will be sending that book home for him to read when I'm done, when my parents come up and visit me here on July the 15th. So it's got to be done by July the 15th, into discussion for that one. So until next month, guys, we will talk to you then. Bye-bye.